G'day, welcome to Todd's Kitchen. Now, if you're looking for that decadent cheesecake recipe to have for dessert or for a party, I guarantee you will love this recipe. It's relatively simple, but it's incredibly delicious. So join me today as I make my version of a lemon meringue cheesecake. Okay, so we're going to start off by making our cookie base. Now, you can use any type of cookie or biscuits that you choose. Personally, I'm just going for plain cookies for this one, because I really want that cheesecake flavour to shine through. So you can use a food processor or just a Ziploc bag. This is the way I prefer to do it. Just get a rolling pin and just crush them up to a fine consistency. So once we've crushed up our cookies, just place them into a bowl. And then to that, just add 140 grams of melted butter. This is going to work like the glue to keep it all together. And just mix it through until all the cookies are completely coated in our butter. And lastly, I've just got a springform pan that I've just lined with some baking paper. So just place our mixture straight into our pan. And using the base of a cup, just going to spread it out and then just push it down so it's nicely compacted. Okay, so once it's compacted, just simply place it in the fridge while we get started on the next step. Okay, so into a mixing bowl, I'm going to place in 250 grams, or 500 grams in total of softened cream cheese, 3/4 a cup or 155 grams of caster sugar or superfine sugar, 300 grams of sour cream, and I will leave a list of all the ingredients in the description under this video. Then the rind of 1 lemon, and this is what really gives it that fantastic lemon taste. It's like a concentrated version of lemon. And then with that same lemon, I've just cut it in half and removed the seeds to be on the safe side. Just squeeze in about 2 tablespoons worth of our lemon juice. Now with all that incorporated, we're simply going to mix it up with a hand or stand mixer until it is all nice and smooth and lump-free. Okay, it's now nice and smooth. Now don't worry if it looks a little bit lumpy. You'll find that's just from the lemon rind. So now for our final ingredients, I'm going to add in 3 eggs. And we're just going to incorporate that for about 1 or 2 minutes. Just until the eggs are completely mixed through. And that's it. It's done. Now I've removed our base from the fridge, so all we have to do is just pour on our cheesecake mixture. Tell you what, this already smells delicious. Okay, so we're going to place this into a preheated oven at 160 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. Okay, so it's finished baking. Now, as a tip on how to minimize any cracking on the cheesecake, just open the door and just leave it slightly ajar like so. And we're going to let it sit in the oven for a further 2 hours while it cools down. And then place it in the fridge for a further 4 hours to completely finish cooling down. So by leaving it in the oven for 2 hours with the door slightly ajar, you'll minimize any cracking that will happen to the cheesecake, simply by letting it cool down slowly. Okay, so now that our cheesecake is completely cooled down, we're going to make our delicious meringue topping. So into a clean mixing bowl, I'm going to place in 3 egg whites. And all we have to do now is just whip it up until we get to the stiff peak stage. And it's all nice and white. Okay, so as you can see, we're now at a stiff peak stage. It's all nice and white. So now I've got 3/4 of a cup of superfine caster sugar. So we're just going to slowly add in just a little bit at a time, let it incorporate, then just add a little bit more. We don't want to do it all at once because it can ruin the meringue. So we want the sugar to completely incorporate and be dissolved, which is why we're using superfine sugar. And it's also going to leave a nice glossy look to it as well. And our sugar is completely dissolved in our meringue. And the meringue is nice and glossy, so it's ready. Okay, so I've taken our cheesecake out of the fridge. As you can see, it is completely cooled down. So with our meringue, just go into with a spatula, just place it directly on top of our cheesecake. And just spread it out so it's all nice and even. Okay, so once you're happy with your meringue on top, we're going to place it straight in the oven. Place this into a preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 minutes. Okay, so it's been 8 minutes, and see how it looks all nice and brown on top, just lightly browned? That means it's ready, and that's exactly what you want. You don't want it too dark, but you also don't want it too light. So now we're going to take this out of the oven and place it into the fridge to completely cool down for 3 hours. Now look how delicious that lemon meringue cheesecake looks. Now there's certainly a bit involved in making this lemon meringue cheesecake, but honestly, the time spent on it is worth it. So you have that lovely baked lemon cheesecake topped with that delicious meringue. And the only real challenge you're going to have with this cheesecake is that you're going to want to have more than one slice. So just keep it in the fridge until it's ready to serve. Have it with a side of coffee or any other drink that you choose, but either way, it's going to taste simply delish.